morning, good evening, everyone. This is Luda Kopikina with GAI Insights. Welcome to Daily AI News, where we rate AI developments essential, important, or optional. You can follow along. The articles are at gaiinsights.com/articles. And please let us know what you think. We usually introduce your comments into the show and discuss them. All right, today I have Adam, Ankaj, myself, and Paul just joined. Welcome, Paul. And let's proceed to the first article. Ankaj, please.
Thanks, Luda. So the first one that we have for today is titled The First Fully General Computer Action Model.
Yes. Adam, what did you think about this one? Please tell us what it is about.
Yeah, super interesting. I'll start by saying it's probably optional. It's too much on the research end of things, but I do feel we may come back and look at this as quite a bit of a breakthrough. So they're talking about what they describe as a computer action model, and that's really by contrast to what we know as a vision language model. So how most computers use the world around them is that they effectively take screenshots and then look at picture by picture. So they've essentially here come up with a really unique video encoder that enables them to train models in a way that we've never been able to train them before. So rather than this new model effectively looking at screenshot by screenshot, it can actually parse a stream of video. What they describe is basically in the past, a model in training would use 1 million tokens for, I think it's 1 minute of 30 frames per second, whereas they're doing 2 hours of video in 1 million tokens. So this is 50 times more token efficient, which allows them to train these models on video at a scale we've never seen before. So especially as you think of robotics and AI extending more out into real-time inference and real-time world understanding, this could come to be a big deal. But at the moment, it's too much on the research end. I'd say it's probably optional news.
Okay. Optional from Adam. Ankaj, what were you thinking?
As Adam mentioned, this is an interesting development. I think this will be one of the most important developments for the next 12 months because vision language models, they spend a lot of tokens in encoding those particular videos to something that the machine can understand, right? So from that perspective, the efficiency that they are bringing in is great. But as Adam mentioned, it's too much on the research side right now. They share some examples, but those are still in the research phase. So for an AI leader, still an optional read.
I was more on an important side, exactly because what you've said, and that is a huge innovation. Actually, what they've done, they've built an annotator. So they can annotate in the pre-training. They can annotate those hours and hours and hours of video into something then that the model can process very quickly. That's the barrier that was standing in front of this old video stuff, and so they've just it's research, all right, but they've broken that barrier. So that's why I was thinking maybe important. Paul, you have a casting vote. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we need a everyday miracle. We need another term. I mean, this is beyond the everyday miracle. It's in the research realm. It is stunning. Adam, I don't know if I've been finally catching up on some of the robotic videos out there, and have you been seeing those robotics and they're doing the ninja kicking? And they had another one where the guy was the robot was just shoveling. It's breathtaking.
The Unitree G1s are, sort of the leading ones there.
I mean, just breathtaking, the training that can be done now with video and watching people here.
Yeah.
So, Luda, I'll side with you on important. It's not actionable yet, and this is continuing a trend we've now seen over a year here, but it is definitely breathtaking on the research side.
For the professional video people, this is a breakthrough, really. They should monitor this very, very closely. So, okay, I'm an innovation junkie. Let's put it important.
Yeah, I mean, I think a challenge, Luda, is every single vector. There's life sciences, trade. I mean, every single vector is just exponential innovation. We're the big bang of innovation here right now.
Yeah, no, and it's coming at unbelievable speed everywhere, from everywhere. Yep. Okay. Next one. So this is, let's put it important. Let's go to the next one.
Hey, the next one is a big one. This one comes from Anthropic, and it's about Cowork and plugins for teams across the enterprise.
I really loved it. So I was really excited about it and rated it as essential. What Anthropic has done with essentially upgrading plugins. So they now have Cowork that you can use and talk to Excel and talk to your PPTs and tie them together. So Cowork was pretty powerful. Then I've been working with skills, and skills are pretty powerful extensions, and you can invoke them. So they essentially a combination, it's an agent that can do stuff, and you can invoke them at any time with the / command, right? So now with the plugins, they give enterprises an opportunity to really do things within the enterprise. So, and they introduce specific plugins for engineering, design, HR, operations. So you could build ammunition for every function, and it's integrated across Google Workspace, Microsoft environment, and more. So Slack and more. So it's extremely powerful, I feel. What did you think about this one, Adam?
Yeah, absolutely essential and a brilliant move by Anthropic. Luda, you were alluding to it. They call them the pre-built plugin templates. And you think about as they've been talking at the blood in the streets recently, from all the news of Anthropic going after first, something in finance and then something in cybersecurity. And this list, I mean, I don't even want to know how the market's going to react to this, but that same idea of making it easy to have these templated best practices of these workflows, like in HR, it's from supporting people operations across the life cycle to drafting offer letters and building onboarding plans, operations, managing core business operations like process documentation and vendor evaluations. For each one of these different business units, they basically templated workflows that out of the box, they consulted with practitioners in the relevant fields. So the terminology and the outputs are right in alignment. And it's everything: HR, design, engineering, financial analysis, brand voice, operations, equity research. So yeah, it's a brilliant move by Anthropic to continue to penetrate into that enterprise market and really extract all the value they can really out of Opus 4.6, Sonnet 4.6, and Claude Code through this really Trojan horse that is Cowork. And now with being able to connect everything from the Office apps to Google Suites, Anthropic's really well positioned in the desktop.
And they're giving admins a lot of controls of allowing controls to this team, but not that team. And so it sits within a controllable environment. And that's for enterprises is very important. Ankash, what did you think?
Essential news for me as well, Luda. I think in addition to the pre-built templates, the connectors that they have built for Google Workspace, DocuSign, SimilarWeb, Harvey, even all the financial databases that are out there, right? I think that will be something that can create Claude Cowork as a single window interface for each knowledge worker to do anything that they want to do with these Gen AI models. So I think that's the main differentiator here for Anthropic. We know Claude Code works really well with everything that is digital. Claude Cowork is taking that ahead with an interface that is more suitable or that is more simpler for knowledge workers. So definitely an essential news. And one thing that is not covered here, which Anthropic announced later on, was so now you can use Claude Code and all the other tools. You can run your workflows through your mobile as well, as people were doing through Telegram with OpenClaw. So that is an additional capability that Anthropic has added. So I think Anthropic is going for the kill here, and they are doing it successfully as well.
Going for the kill. So Paul, what did you think?
Yeah, no, clearly double optional. I think this is a really good indication of, I've been in software for 25 years. Roadmap is about trade-offs, and Anthropic continues to focus and listen really well for what those enterprise needs. They still don't have really good text to image. They don't have text to video. They aren't doing hardware devices. We are on the Teams or small business version, and this is not upgraded for us yet because they're first rolling out to the enterprises. And they, yes, they're raising billion, but OpenAI is doing a lot more on the consumer side and build out and everything else. So this focused roadmap they have around these enterprises is paying off. We were, as a lot of you know, we were at a 5-hour workshop with a major hedge fund yesterday. This hedge fund has Copilot, everyone, ChatGPT 81. They just got Anthropic approved, Adam. They have an 85-person list that went from 5 to 85 in 3 days to get Claude, and now
like
they're
a wait
rolling
list
out
internally. Like expression of interest, yeah.
Internally, and then now that they're rolling out, now they realize I can get the best tool for the best thing, and they're talking to Google Gemini. So this notion that the very best firms are going to get the very best tools for their knowledge workers to get, these are very well-paid knowledge workers, and that Anthropic's leaning into that. And last thing, Adam, I continue to be just blown away by OpenClaw, but this idea, and Ankash, you touched on it, that we're going to have a personal assistant at work, in our work structure, and a personal assistant at home, and being able to connect to my approved systems with just say what I want, and it'll go figure out what the API is, or in Salesforce or not, is a fundamental change that many of us thought might be here 1 to 3 years. It's happening now. I mean, this whole interface of knowledge workers is getting ripped off, and the companies who are leaning into adoption are going to do that. And last thing I would say is just, we continue to talk about how leaders and industries are getting further ahead down a vector here. I continue to see Anthropic in the last 4 months getting further down ahead in meeting enterprise needs than OpenAI. So OpenAI, this also may be a fork on Kaj we talk about a year from now, where these two companies really diverge. Their IPOs are going to happen, and it's going to get even more pressure to stay consistent on where their roadmap is. But
yeah,
really, unbelievably exciting if you're in the enterprise.
You said double optional. Do you think double optional?
That's a double.
I was going to ask, yeah.
Okay,
No.
double essential. Okay, essential it is. I can't wait to start experimenting with it. It seems like skills will extend your brain, and these plugins is extend your reach. It's real time, grabbing things and moving them around and operating on them. It's fascinating. Okay, let's proceed to the next one.
Okay, the next one comes from Liquid AI, and they have released LFM2 24 billion parameters A to B model, scaling up the LFM2 architecture.
Yeah, we keep talking that they don't have users. They have 10 million downloads of all of their models. So there's stuff happening, but we really don't know what their specific enterprises using them is. But this is yet they're pushing the envelope. What did you think about this one, this model, Ankash?
I was optional on this one, Luda. So this is a mid-early checkpoint of a sparse mixture of experts model that they have released with 24 billion total parameters and 2.3 billion active parameters at any point in time. This can run on 32 GB of RAM, which makes it useful for small hardware or edge devices like laptops or your phones as well even. But still, I would say we haven't seen a practical deployment of their models, and if they are doing it, they are not making it public. So for that reason, I was optional.
But it's US made, very performant, open model, right? So for that reason, we keep talking about it, and I think we should, because it's a very performant model. At some point, people will start using it, I think, after experimenting. Adam, what did you think?
Yeah, I was on the fence. Luda, you raised good points about why we might want to consider elevating it and keeping it on the radar, because it is a development of an open source US model, and we don't see many of those that are leading. But that being said, I also agree with Ankash that it's probably just not not enough of a real step change to warrant flagging it and bringing it to their attention.
Yeah, it
So
seems
I was
like,
optional.
yeah, it seems like we are going optional, Paul. We love those guys, right? Because they are
Yeah,
MIT,
not Liquid AI, do it great work.
They have a really cool underpinning architecture, different from transformers. So they are cool. But yeah, what do you think? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
I want him to get distribution. A lot of cool companies out there. This is a distribution power game right now. So the best widget never wins. Distribution wins right now.
That is true, and they need to change their marketing angle. Okay, optional it is. Let's proceed.
Okay, the next one is a research paper which is titled Evaluating Agents.md. Are repository level context files helpful for coding agents?
Yeah, Adam, could you please tell us what this, many listeners might not know what .md is about. So
Sure.
if you can take it from that level, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So a .md file that's just the extension on it is MD, and it's actually a text file. And it's a format similar to a .txt. So when you hear .md, just think, oh, it's a text file, and that's the extension for it. And MD files, it stands for Markdown, and it's the type of text format that a lot of these agents like Claude use to make notes to themselves and to each other, or so that when it runs next time in a certain directory with code, there might be some code specific instructions, or either about that part of the code or about that project, that this agents.md file, like GPT's Codex as well, will look for this file for instructions. And everyone sort of has always said, yeah, make it agents.md and make sure you're documenting and telling your agents what to do. And someone finally said, well, does that actually help? And did a little research to find out. And interestingly enough, what they found basically is that it reduced the task success rate when you had that file there, and that it actually increased the inference cost by over 20%. So at least their findings seem to allude to the fact that you're better off not having that file. I actually chatted with one of my colleagues, and he has dug a little deeper, watched some other videos on it. He said it has to do more with those files being out of date or conflicting versions of them that can cause some issues. So it was originally important because a lot of developers rely on this, and it's good to question that assumption. But I'm on the fence between important or optional because it might not have the scope of impact that I initially thought it did.
Ashish is commenting that Markdowns is the language of agentic world, and everyone should get to know how to use them effectively. Use them effectively is the one that we're talking about, that Adam is talking about. Okay, Ankash, what did you think?
I was important on this one, Luda. I think, as Adam mentioned, it has broader implications. Not just that you shouldn't have that agent MD file, but you should keep it updated. I have seen it in my own experiments with skills and agents that you need to have that updated. Otherwise, if the Claude sort of code goes into different directions, create dummy files, it causes all sort of problems. So for that reason, you need to keep on checking your agent MD files and keep on updating it as you update your context within your different set of agents or skills. So for that reason, I would say important.
Yeah, I was also on important, not on the takeaways, because I'm not sure I believe them, but in that MD file can actually provide a lot of contextual information and guardrails and things that it's difficult to provide real time. So MD is the way, as Ashish is saying, at how you do that. So, but it has to be updated in order to be effective. So I was more on important side. As always, Paul, what did you think?
Yeah, yeah, MD's obviously huge. I'm on the optional side, but it's I think it just shows an Ankash. One, Adam, I thought your articulation of what MD files was just really articulate. It's good, and non-technical people should not be intimidated. They can do this. You just have to carve out 5 or 10 minutes to understand and learn, and have the robots help you understand this, because it will make a difference on all these frontier model applications. So, but that was optional, Luda.
Okay. So we have 3 importance, actually. Adam, you were optional, right? Or you were important?
I was
Adam,
important.
You were important. So I was also important. Paul, you're overruled. Important it is.
Well, wasn't the first time, won't be the last time. So
All right. Let's go to the next one. Ankash, please.
Okay, the next one comes from Pipe Plus, and it talks about Seedream 5.0, which brings multimodal reasoning and precise control to professional image creation.
Yeah, I rated it as optional, but it is stunning. So, Ankash, if you can scroll, yeah, that's the image. So effectively, you could now do the original design, and it goes into and gives you the options of what you can create. It's really stunning, but it is yeah, professional folks will find it if they need it, but for the general AI leader, that's not as important, I didn't think. So what did you think, Ankash?
Optional from me as well, Luda.
Adam?
Yeah, optional for me as well. I started thinking about and trying to understand how it's different from Nano Banana Pro, where you can do a lot of sort of that contextual reference as well. And I think this is actually leaning into that a little more in terms of the vision model or the understanding actually being able to do more reasoning. It seems like some of my research shows that this has more to do with real-time research as well. So it might get rid of some of the limitations we've seen around transformer models and having up-to-date references as well, but still probably optional.
Yeah, so they talk about more complex environments where you can show scientific knowledge. They don't show it in the examples, but it's the reasoning through the images in the very complex concepts that they're trying to project. It's probably very useful to professionals, but as it seems like we're all agreeing on optional. Paul?
Optional.
Optional it is. Let's proceed.
Okay, the next one that we have comes from Anthropic, and this is part of their alignment research, and it is titled The Persona Selection Model.
Yeah, there is a very long post that is linked in here, and this is a summary. Ankash, please tell us what it's about and what did you think?
Luda. So basically, what Anthropic says in this research is that assistants act like humans because during pre-training, it learns various kinds of implicit personas because it is trained on text and the text is written from different perspectives. And it says the behavior that these assistants show, it can mean very different things depending on the persona behind it. So they used an example here where they tested the cheating on coding tasks. According to the models, it signaled malice, and they suggested a fix was to explicitly request cheating during training so that the behavior no longer implied a hostile persona. So basically, what this research tells the developers is that, okay, there are different kinds of personas, and you need to understand the psychology behind those personas when you are trying to change them. So from my perspective, Luda, this is an optional read for now. Enterprise AI leaders are still struggling to adopt these set of tools and how to get the most benefit out of these. So they are not thinking about the personas right now. They might think about them when these tools get adopted at a scale in their organizations and then start impacting their culture and stuff. But right now, this is an optional read.
The counter argument may be they should think about this as early as possible as they're adopting it, but I know that's very hard.
But the bandwidth is limited, Luda.
Totally. Adam, what did you think?
Yeah, I agree with Ankash and with you. I would say it's optional for now, but this is going to become a key component, I feel, to how they actually come to understand evaluations, right? And what you can do to ensure the alignment that these models are behaving and giving you the outcomes that you expect. So I think it will come to be important, and I agree with Ankash that the vast majority, statistically, perhaps all organizations are not yet ready to really take on this information.
It is an introduction of a risk, really. So if the persona that your agent adopts has malicious tendencies in it, right? You're exposed to quite a bit of risk without knowing it. But it is very high subjects for now, I think, because everybody can think about everything at the same time. Paul, we're going optional.
Yeah, optional. I think it's talking about alignment. I know it didn't hit this, but in the Wall Street Journal today, Anthropic is talking about how they're slowing down their commitment to safety. They had a meeting yesterday with a $200 million contract they had at defense that's up for blocking, and lo and behold, they're just slowing down, Adam, our commitment to safety here. So, I think this whole trend line of understanding alignment and safety is important for companies to understand, but this particular article is optional.
Well, and real interesting, because what he said was that it was competitive pressure that forced them to move away.
That's such BS. If they didn't have a $200 million contract at risk, would they have made this decision? Of course not.
No.
Oh, and Adam, aren't they trying to get an IPO out, and they don't want to signal the Wall Street that they were going to turn down $200 million contracts?
Yeah,
some competitive pressure for sure.
But it's really, I mean, in their fiber, in their core, is that commitment to safety. So I doubt they will really slow it down, but they would not talk about it as much publicly. I think.
You don't think they're going to slow it down to meet the defense?
No. Well, no. They will take this contract. They will work internally on these projects, security projects for sure. That's what I think. But they will talk about them publicly.
I'm very interested in the cultural strengths. We have people leave OpenAI who were just committed to this, start this company at this company. We had people at Google that protested and left there. So, it's one thing to have these platitudes on the wall, though. But when the rubber hits the road, let's see where they are. But
that's a fork essentially in there.
And after that, isn't everything just a rationalization? I mean, it's hard, right?
Yeah, it is hard. For the leadership, it's hard. Okay, optional it is. So as we prepare the scorecard, Paul, anything to report?
Yeah, two announcements. So Monday's Learning Lab, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. Ashish is going to go through a demo on both OpenClaw and Claude Code. We have 130 people signed up. We'll probably get another 20, 30. So I encourage everyone to log on. And if you have never seen these tools, these are two of the hottest tools right now. Second, as we continue to be bullish internally, we just opened up a rec in India looking for junior analysts who already know Claude Code and Claude work. We need people coming in with their robots. So we're looking for people who've already spent the 10, 20, 30 hours, not 1,000, who know these tools and can show us they can hit the ground running with it. So this whole notion that showing up with understanding of the basics, obviously using the work productivity tool, but also these robots is happening everywhere, including at GAI Insights.
Yeah, I am a broken record telling people, look, AI fluency is a critical parameter on which employers will be evaluating you across positions. It doesn't matter what position is. You have to now show that you know something and you can actually apply something in AI.
And literally and I just want to triple up, at least in mine, you have to show, you can't tell. Adam, hire me. Here's my resume. I've done all this coding. Of course I can lose these tools. Adam, hire me. Here's 3 GPTs I built. Adam, hire me. Here's my Claude Code that I set up here.
And this is in production, and I built it, right? So this is the level that you need to get to applying it for sure. All right. So, and Paul, this is important. How to sign up? It's a meetup rather than LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, no, it's a Luma link. As well as you can go to meetup.com. So you can either those, send me a message. I think it's also on our website as well.
Okay, great. All right, so today we had 1 essential, 2 importance, and the rest were optional. So thank you for listening. Thank you for participating. Thank you all, Adam, Ankash, Paul, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks, Adam.